So pretty much I was supposed to go on a date with this dude, and he showed up to my apartment, and he came inside for a little bit because we arranged a date. This is when I was younger. We arranged a date for us to just chill and play like N64 video games. And he came inside for a little bit, and I want to say about 20 minutes later, we went back out, and his car was gone. And he was flipping out and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't remember if in the thing that I filled out, though, did I say something about Chipotle?
Maybe.
Go ahead and just tell the story.
Let me see if you... sorry, hold on.
Speaking of which, I love the steak bowl.
Oh,
so good.
Wait, what?
That's my
Oh,
favorite.
from Chipotle?
I can't eat
Okay.
Chipotle. It makes me so sick.
Yeah, you said he took you to Chipotle, but he made you pay.
Yeah. He originally arranged a second date and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take you to some expensive taco place,
Yeah, and you said
a
know,
ritzy taco place," and we show up to Chipotle, and I had to pay for myself.
What is that?
based.
And then I like went off. I was like, "I'm never gonna chill with you again, no matter you're like hot as fuck, tatted, whatever." And then he rearranged it, and we did go on a third date, which he did pay, and we went to like a bougie taco place. But don't promise me no bougie.
Did you continue dating him after the third date or no?
No.
Yeah, you said
No.
you said that you noticed he had severe
Yeah.
anger issues, which was a red flag. He started yelling at you on the first date when the car was repossessed.
Yep.
Did you hook up with him?
I was younger, yes,
So to be clear,
but I cut it off quick.
So he had severe anger issues. First date, he started yelling at you. Did you hook up with him after he yelled at you, or was this before?
I think this was
Oh, you hooked up with him on the second date, not the first date.
I think it was.
It was the first date.
Maybe it was. We just
Probably
made
first.
out. That was it.
Oh,
So I wouldn't count.
well, did you
it.
have?
No, we didn't have sex.
Oh,
no.
okay. But so after he got done yelling at you, and you noticed his severe anger issues, you were like, "Oh, this is a good guy to make out
No,
with."
it was awkward because he had to call his friend to like lend him money to take him to go get his car out.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of awkward. And then after going with him to get his car out of the impound, he was like, "So do you still want to hang out?" And it was kind of like a situation where I kind of like felt bad and like I really didn't want to, but I kind of was like, I'm here already.
So did the actual hookup happen on date number 2 when he didn't pay?
No.
No?
No. I was getting to know him. I didn't sleep with him.
Oh.
Wait, so how old were you when you dated him?
Well, it was just like dates. I didn't date him.
No, but how old were you?
I was 25.
25.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting.
I just moved to Austin, and the most weirdest part about all this was when I first came to Cali when I was 21. I used to hang out with these two twin brothers, which I was friends with. Ironically, I asked this kid, now when I was living in Texas for a year, what made you move out here? He was like, "Oh, I had these two twin brothers." The twin brothers that he knew, I chilled with them when I was 21 out here, and when I was in that crib that day, they actually kicked that guy out from living at his place. Yet now, fast forward to Texas, I run into this dude. It was like a weird situation.
Well, it's interesting. So, okay, like you made out with him after he yelled at you, and then you hung out with him the second time.
No, so I didn't make out with him after he yelled at me. He had to get a ride.
Well, you made out with him later on that night.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he yelled at you, then you made out with him, but...
No, he was yelling at me in my apartment complex.
Yeah.
Like anyone would because his car got taken away, but it's not my problem. You didn't read the signs.
Okay, but then on the second date, you hooked up with him.
I made out with him.
Again on the second date? I'm gonna just...
I think I bitched, and then he said he was gonna make it up to me and all this stuff.
On the third date? Okay. Did you end up hooking up with him at any point?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, it's just interesting because it's like women often complain about toxic men, yet despite him displaying very concerning behaviors, perhaps even abusive behavior, you made out with him, you went on subsequent dates with him, you rewarded essentially and reinforced his behavior.
Same time I was younger then, and on the third date, I knew I wasn't going to see him anymore, and the red flag was when he paid for this expensive taco meal, and I like got a whole bunch of drinks the third date to make up for what happened the second one. I was like, oh yeah, I might be moving, and he's like, oh, you're moving? Then why am I paying for your date then? I told you I want a girlfriend. And I was like, oh, I think like in the future, like to get out of it. And then after that, I was like, I'm not seeing this kid again.
You also said that you had a strictly platonic relationship. This is a different guy, where you had a guy who was your slave. He liked to be kicked in the groin. He was the dog, and I would walk him on a leash. He had a dog collar that stated "Property of Kitty."
I wish I brought it with me.
If lost, return. Oh, you still have it?
Yeah, he gave it back to me when I moved out here. He was my slave.
Okay. Was this also like a findom thing? Were you findoming him?
It wasn't
like he'd pay you money and shit, or?
He would buy me things and stuff like that. So slaves like do stuff that you want them to do. So it's like, hey, I need my apartment clean. Come clean my apartment. Yeah. Hey, I need my car washed. Go drive and like wash my car. But his whole fetish was slave and then CBT. Okay. Do you know what CBT is?
I feel like I've heard this before. CBT.
I don't. No. What is it?
Cock and ball torture.
Yikes.
I'll never.
That's a yikes. I don't know about that one.
And another thing that is as much as like people are like, oh, BDSM work is weird and all this stuff. To me, this is just my personal opinion. I could never sell myself sexually. That's just me. I've went through too many traumatic things where I wouldn't be able to do that because I don't think I'd ever be able to date anyone, to be honest. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to BDSM work, one, you're pretty much finding out what they're into, really finding out what they want. But a lot of people that practice BDSM usually are a lot more stable mentally, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's been studies on it.
Wait, what?
So look it up. My phone's died, but people because I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's sick, that's weird. you look
understand
scared.
Their wants and needs.
Yeah,
I've been asked to be a dom by so many guys.
People who practice.
I mean, you think a well-adjusted man wants his balls and cock torture?
No. Absolutely. Some people, honestly, not everyone.
Not everyone, but there is a good amount. Well,
like,
if
what's
you have
the
kinks,
threshold
as long as you're
breaker?
healthily doing your kinks, there's nothing really wrong with that.
Because I've done BDSM.
Yeah, but that's my question though. Is like, what's the threshold breaker? It's super weird to me to think that if you're a woman and somebody asks you to do this to them on purpose, you don't think that that's like a sign that maybe they're a sicko or
they're not. There's been studies on it that people that practice BDSM are usually in better health because you have to think about it. A lot of people that hate those things usually are the ones that end up going like psycho or crazy, or they're into it but they're like in the closet about it. I don't
even really understand this. So you're saying they're better mentally adjusted because they engage in those activities?
Yes.
Than the ones who have those urges and don't engage in them is what she's saying. She's not saying that these men are better than men who have no kinks at all and don't do anything at all. That's not what she's saying. She's saying that men who have these kinks and at least act in them in healthy ways are better off than the men who have these kinks and just suppress them. That's what she's saying.
Yeah, okay, I got it. So
and I will make one other statement. I will make one other thing.
Over here.
As far as BDSM goes, it is strictly work related. As far as my relationships, they're not. And honestly, I don't think I could date someone that would want, like, I don't want to dom a man, to be honest.
But you would agree with me that most men don't want that kind of treatment, right? You would agree that these are outliers, right?
I did meet this one guy out here that you would think doesn't have that fetish that looks completely normal. He wanted me to spit in his mouth, slap him in the face, and he gets onto that, and he's fine as hell. But I could never.
I'm just saying.
My friend
you would
used
agree
to
that they're not the norm.
Ass. That was completely
Wait, say that again?
One of my exes
you would agree they're not the norm, right?
I don't know.
Like that's not a normal thing that men would want.
Normal's
definitely not.
It really depends because no one's normal in the world we live in right now.
Yeah.
No, there's still some.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of a dodge. I'm just saying. Do you think, generally speaking, that men likely don't want to have women like dominate, beat them up, and shit? Like they probably don't want that.
Wait,